bales at the Headlands. Quite nice stuff, I think. I think it's pretty much hay. We'll probably wrap it anyway, just because it just saves storing it in the shed. And it's always safer to wrap it, but yeah, I think it is hay. But it's just a shame the sun hasn't come out, just to make it that little bit more crispy. But at least it's not raining, that's the main thing. Very black overhead, but it's lovely stuff as it is. It's really nice, dry, happy silage. Wanted cut in about almost a week earlier really, but just never got the opportunity. But it should make nice stuff. Pack it into the baler okay anyway. Yeah, it's getting really annoying, that door. So this is the great silage stack of 25, although it's not really that great yet. I'm not even sure how many is here. I'd have to add it all up. But yeah, I think we're going to get, well, I'll get all these here and then we kind of run out of room. And as you can tell, I couldn't decide to go with the capital letters or lowercase letters. I was being stingy with spray because I didn't want to. I thought, well, what will use less spray, and I went with lowercase. I'm trying to spray all my bales this year, just mark them so I know which is which, because I didn't last year. Because I thought, what's the point? Because part of me thinks, oh, it's really interesting to know what comes from what field when you open them, and then part of me thinks, well, it doesn't really matter, does it? Because they've all got to be fed. But because we ended up selling loads from last year, it's actually really handy to know exactly where they're all from, so you know what sort of quality they are. It's not as important this year because everything's pretty much of similar quality because the weather's been so good. We've managed to get it all as I wanted it, so it's all very similar. But last year we had some that was drastically different, and we had bits that had mud in it because it was so wet, and bits that went really way too far gone really for silage and ended up more like haylage. And yeah, there was just massive variation in quality last year. So that's all that we've got baled. So I'm going to unload these and then I'm going to switch to the hay. Dan's been to wrap some of them. I don't know how many he's wrapped, whether he's wrapped all of them or not. There's 50 odd bales. Some of those, 2 loads of those are sold, so almost all of them. Might keep a couple, whatever's left I might chuck in the calf shed just to use for young calves, 'cause it's quite handy. Before they're eating silage, it's quite handy to just introduce hay, because obviously you haven't got to worry about them taking their time eating it. And then they can sort of transition onto silage after they've got used to eating a bit of hay. But so it is quite handy to have, and I have still got some small bales left from last year, but I thought I'll try and keep a couple of round bales because they're handy to take to the other farm. So yeah, I'm going to carry on unloading. Another job done. So that's another 10 acre ticked off. Well, it's 10 acre ticked off. So we've second cut. So we've done What have we done second cut? We've done 24 acres so far, and we've got another, I don't know, 30 or 40 acres to go, and we've still got another, we've done 10 acres of first cut for hay on this new block of ground, and we've still got another 40 acres to do, so slow progress. Well, Dan's got the tether back together today, and we're just turning this stuff out for the first time. It's only a very light crop. It's been down for, it was mowed 2 days ago, so it's nearly made hay on its own without being turned, to be honest. Sort of sounds a bit rattly, that tether, but well, we're having a bit of a big second cut day today. We've got 5 or 6 fields to do. So this is the bulk of it. Lots of little fields though. This starting with this one, which is just a tiny little field. It's never had any fertiliser. I normally put sheep on this field, but I just haven't got around to buying any sheep this year. So I've had to mow it twice. There'll only be 3 bales on here, and then we'll go into some better fields. But yeah, all of it was mowed yesterday. This stuff has gone very dry because it was a real light crop, but the stuff in the other fields might be a bit wetter. But it's been two really hot. Yes, today's completely still, but yesterday was quite windy, so it'll be plenty dried up. Nice silage. Some of it's a little bit late cut. Some of the more ryegrass type grasses had sort of gone to seed and were a bit stalky. But what can you do? So Dan's hopefully a field ahead of me because he's got one road up last night, so I can go and get on with that. I've already mowed one little field, baled one little field that he rode up last night, which was again very similar to this. It was a grazing field really, and then we'll get into the good stuff. So yeah, by the time we've baled it all, wrapped it all, got it all home, it's going to be a busy day. And then hopefully tomorrow we'll do some hay. Well, 30 bales off this field. Dan's parked up because he wants to go and get some lunch. We're only right next door to the yard, so we'll have to wait. I can't bale anymore. He gets grumpy when he's not being fed, so yeah, we just got another 4-acre field to do, which is a reasonably good crop on. Quite long, stalky stuff, and then we've got a 6-acre field, which yeah is a rough field that hardly got any grass on, so it won't be long, I don't think. Chicken runs look very sad without any hens in them, but hopefully not for long. Well, it's been a hell of a drying day. Some of the silage that we've been baling just now that was only cut yesterday was like nearly hay. So we've just finished the silage and we thought, while we got the rake on, we'll just have a go, we'll bale the headlands off this and see what it's like. I think it'll be hay. But we were going to bale it tomorrow, but we've got a bit of rain forecast tomorrow, so tomorrow afternoon, so I thought if we can get the headlands off it now, we might have a go small baling some tomorrow. But yeah, it's very dry. Some of the, yeah, Can't believe it really, the amount it's dry just in 24 hours. But this has been down for 3-4 days now, so I think it'll be. I thought we'd have to ted it again, but looking at it, I wouldn't have said we do. Well, it's Friday today, it's the next day after our big baling day. What's the date? Friday the 4th of July. Gosh, we've got a lot of footage already. We're only the beginning of the month. So we got, well, I got most of the, I got everything wrapped. I got most of the bales carted in last night that we did. This is the last field that I didn't get to. So there's 10 on here. This is just like toppings really. And then we ended up baling 20 bales of hay, round hay, off the headland of our hay field. And Dan's wrapped them as well, so I've got to get them in. And then we're gonna try and get the tedder on, get the hay tedded one last time. I don't think it really needs tedding, but just to be safe, flick it out. We were hoping it's going to be sunny, but the sun hasn't come out yet. And then we've just got a couple of hours basically to get all that baled for this potential rain forecast at 5 o'clock this afternoon. Dan thinks it could be later, or you know, it could come earlier, or it might not come at all. So we got plenty to do today as well. And then got a couple of other jobs I'm supposed to be doing. I've got a muck trailer to do. Cattle really need mucking out. And it would be quite nice to get some fertiliser spread. I haven't got a lot of fertiliser, I've only got 4 bags, but I want to get it spread before any rain really. So yeah, we'll see how we get on today. Right, so we've got all the silage unloaded, got the 20 bales of hay unloaded that were out in the field, and then I've just taken this bar off, which is the round bale bar on this trailer, just pulls out, and then I've put this thing in, this stupid thing that I made years ago. In hindsight, I should have made it a lot bigger. I should have made it like so you could put, I made it so you could put exactly was it 10, 20, 25 bales on a layer. I was thinking of small bales at the time and not big bales, but in hindsight I should have made it at least like this big so that you could get another round bale on. But yeah, we just weren't really doing much with round bales back then, and I wanted it so that it could lift out without having to sort of unbolt anything, whereas if you made it bigger I'd have probably had some sort of a brace down here. So I've got a bit of a ladder that slots in this piece on the back for small bales, because when we did this, used to use this trailer, it had a smaller axle on it, much smaller wheels, don't know where the wheels are, and it used to always lean back when you had it hooked onto the trailer. The whole trailer used to slope backwards, and unless, even if you had it strapped, they all seemed to fall off the back of the trailer every time you went over a bump somehow. So that's why I made a bit of a ladder, very lightweight frame ladder thing to go on the back to hold the bales on. But it's quite handy because you can stack everything up square. So the plan is that we're going to try and get some small bales done, enough to fill this trailer. I think this trailer will hold 150 minimum, maybe more. So if we try and bale around about 200, hopefully we can get them all under cover before it rains. This trailer will just back under that shed, and then I can maybe fill one of the little Land Rover trailers or something, and then we'll see what's left. Or if we go mad, we might just bale it all. I don't know, I think 200 little bales would probably be the majority of it, to be fair, because it's not a very big. Yeah, next job will be getting the small baler out. I think I'll probably put it onto this tractor because I was going to use the International, but I can't get it started, so I'm going to have to use this tractor to bale. But yeah, small baling is just such a stressful job, because you could spend all day trying to get small bales done, because it's a slow process. The baler's not working properly, it's even slower, and then you've got that stress of, if you have a successful day and you get lots of bales done, you've got the stress of that if it rains, all the bales that you've baled will go to waste if it rains. So then you've got a massive job of getting them all loaded up and under cover, which is, again, is just massively labour intensive and it takes a long time. And I've done a lot of small baling over the years, because I've only ever had, up until last year, I've only had a small baler, so I had no choice but to try and make hay. And yeah, it's just, once you've got a round baler, you realise why people don't go back to small bales, and there's just so much that can go wrong. With round bales, you can finish the day baling and it can rain and nothing will take any harm. That doesn't seem to be making a lot of progress, Teddy. He's only done half the bit. He is moving. Teddy is moving, but I think he must have stopped a couple of times. Just because he's only done half the field. He's been at it for more than half an hour anyway. Oh, I forgot to bring a block for that trailer. Damn it. Because the wheels on that trailer are so big now, it doesn't sit anywhere near level. I don't know if you can see it. I've got my camera plugged in, so I can't move it. It doesn't sit anywhere near level enough to be able to load small bales with the grab. So I was going to bring a block of wood to sit the trailer on so it sits level, but I forgot. Well, we've run into a problem already. I knew that the sledge had a puncher because the tyre went flat. It's been sat in the yard for 2 years. I was hoping that we'd just put a bit of air in it and it would stay up for the duration of the time that we need it. I've just brought it up now, and it would seem the problem is slightly worse than I thought. This rim's completely rotten, and funnily enough the tube won't hold air, so that could be a bit of an issue, because I don't think I've got a spare wheel. In fact, I've definitely not got a spare wheel, so I don't know how I'm going to bodge that, to be honest. This one seems fine. I think the front one's fine. I don't want to bale small bales without a sledge. I'm just not doing it. Oh, game over. The rain's decided to come about 4 hours early. Wasn't forecast till 5 and it's only midday, so I'm getting a fair amount on the windscreen now. I think we're going to have to stop. It's a shame, because the baler's actually working, the sledge is actually working, the hay's perfect. How annoying. Really, really nice hay. Heavy bales, well, not heavy bales, tight bales. I've had to tighten them right up. Well, we're baling again. The rain blew off as quick as it came, so we got what we had baled chucked on the trailer, and then by the time we'd done that, it was completely bone dry again. So we're carrying on now, but we're just going cautiously. Dan's just rowing a few rows up, and we're trying to get it baled, but it's so windy, most of it's blowing away, and the rows are blowing away before we get to them. That's why we're just trying not to get ahead with the rake. But God, it's lovely stuff. Really, really nice hay. Bone dry, still green. But yeah, it's just a little bit too windy for the job, really. But I shouldn't complain, because it'd be worse if it wasn't windy. So we'll try and get that trailer full anyway. Well, I'm going to, I've just found my camera. yeah, it never really, it keeps threatening to rain. We've had a couple of bits of drops on the bonnet, but it's not actually rained yet, and it's got to 6 o'clock. So as soon as as usual, as soon as we took the small baler off, no more rain to be seen. The entire time it took us to round bale the rest of the hay. So maybe we could have baled more small bales, but I just didn't want to risk it. There's too much grass, really nice grass there to want to risk it. So we got it all round bales, 30 round bales, 150 odd small bales. So yeah, another box ticked. We've got one more block of land I've first got to do for hay, which I might mow beginning of next week. Today's Friday, and then we've got 3 fields left to do second cut silage. So yeah, some stack of bales we've got now, and it's going to be even more, because we've potentially got like 130 acres of second and third cut silage to do at the end of the year as well, sort of August, September. So yeah, but I've plenty of silage for sale, and I think plenty of hay for sale as well. So right, Dan's gone off to wrap them, because we ummed and ahed about leaving them unwrapped, stacking them in the shed, but they're gonna take up all of the shed space we've got. We're hoping to get hold of some straw, although it's looking a bit dicey at the moment, because there's not been any. There was none for sale around here in the auction that I bought it from last year. So still a couple of options, but it's getting harder to find straw. But we're hoping to have some straw in the shed, in the barn, and then machinery in the other shed. So we've got the boom back in. We've packed all the back packers. What are they called? Slides? What would you call them? Wear pads. So we've got. He's put a packer, I think, on almost every single pad, as in another plate, because it's got these plates on to pack them out. Each one's got 3 or 4 different size plates, so he's made some more out of different sizes of thickness of tin, and with some difficulty we got the boom back into its housing, so it's quite tight at the back, so we're quite happy with that. But the front seems really loose, so he's just going to make another 2 packers to go on these side ones, because they're just flapping around. So even with the extra he's put in, and then unfortunately we can't, the bottom ones have got to go back in on the bottom, because they're a different size to the sides and to the top. So he's just going to have to make packers for the bottom ones. But yeah, I mean, whatever happens, it can't be any worse than it was in theory. A little bit of a disaster yesterday. We put it all back together, as in we got all the blocks back on, got the shaft back inside the JCB end, only to find that when we come to put the pin in the boom, in the ram, the long ram that goes inside the boom, the eye of the ram instead of being like that, had twisted to like that. So we couldn't get the pin back through, and we tried all night with sticking things in, trying to turn it round, and we just couldn't get it to turn. So we reluctantly this morning Dan's taken all the blocks off again, because you've got to take the blocks off to be able to slide the boom out. And then the idea is we'll pull the ram back, turn it the way it should be, push it out again, and make sure we've got the ram end lined up with the pin. We could even probably put the pin back in before we put all the blocks back in and put it back together. Bit of an absolute pain of a job really, but Dan's actually in quite good spirits about it this morning, so it's woken up with a new level of enthusiasm. We had a bit of rain last night, but it's forecast dry now for a week, so hoping to maybe get mowing again by the end of the day. But it's quite important we get this back together so that we can feed the cows. Well, it's Wednesday, the 9th of May, and we've got everything mowed now. I spent the last 2 days mowing. So we've mowed all the remaining second cut we've got, which is about 20 acres, and we've mowed another 20-acre block of first cut hay ground, which is where I'm going now. I'm just off with the baler to go and pick up just a baler chamber full of grass from around the headlands of the first cut field, because I'm just feeding it to the cows. I went and got a bale yesterday and they've eaten most of that. It's just the back swath around the field. There's some bits of it that got the odd bit of bramble and weed in it and bits of twig and stuff like that, so I'm just going to go and, instead of trying to make it into hay and wrapping it, or making it into hay to sell, I'm just wanting to get rid of it really. So the cheapest way is to just feed it to the cows. So that's what I'm going to do. I think I'll get a load today and then another load tomorrow, and then that'll be basically the back swath off the whole field. But I'll go and show you what sort of crop it is in a minute. It's not been easy mowing this last lot of stuff, because there's not a bad crop on the silage ground, but it's very, very short and dense, which is a nightmare to mow, because you just can't get through it quickly without making the belts slip on the mower. So this is the crop. Still quite a lot of green in it. A lot of it, the early growth had all shot up and gone to seed, and then there was a much later flush of growth that come up that was way behind, that is still quite green. So I think if you were to make it into silage, it wouldn't be as bad as I thought. But even still, we don't need the extra silage, and we don't need like semi-average quality silage. So we're just gonna try and make hay, I think, or haylage. But this field is horrendously rough. I don't know whether it picks up on the camera, but I'm having to just crawl along. It was very heavy going on the mower, because the mower was just banging around all over the place. So I'm very reluctant to rush in here with the tedder. Because it's such a thin crop, I'm hoping to get away with a minimal amount of tedding, maybe once or twice. So I finished mowing it yesterday morning, so probably not going to ted it today. Maybe we'll come and ted it tomorrow for the first time. But yeah, the forecast is dry right through now for like the next 2 weeks. But the weekend looks like it's going to be scorching hot. So today's Wednesday, so we're certainly not going to rush to bale it before the weekend, I don't think. We'll just leave it as long as we can leave it. Get away without tedding it if we can, because this field's just going to destroy my tedder, I think. It's quite delicate at the best of times, so I don't really want to finish it off. And then hopefully everything else. This back swath down here isn't too bad. It's quite clean. There's no weeds in it. and it's not really in the shade of any trees, so I don't think it'll take any harm being made into hay. So the plan would be to hopefully get some silaging done, get the 20 acres that we cut yesterday bale into silage this afternoon. That's the plan. But we're running very short on diesel, and we're not got delivery till tomorrow at the earliest, so see how we get on. Bit of a disaster with it seems as though Dan's gas struts under here have at least one of the two has completely given up the ghost, which is going to be a bit of a problem because that's just going to drag along the floor, and we're not going to be able to reverse. So I don't really want to take them off either, because they're really, really handy, because it saves having to back up every time you let a bale out. So I'll spread this about with a JCB when I get back. I've just got to go and deliver some bales. Yeah, if you leave it wrapped up like that, it starts heating up, so I try and spread it all out and fluff it up. I'll give some to the others once they've eaten up. But they seem to prefer eating the fresh grass, even though this is quite old hay sort of grass. They prefer eating it to like really, really nice first cut silage. So, oh, in other news, the JCB, we finally got it back together, but it was a hell of a job. We were very much regretting starting it by the time we'd finished. So basically we ended up taking the boom, this part of the boom, out of this part of the boom. We ended up taking it in and out about 5 times, because the pin, the ram that this pin goes through, just kept twisting. Every time we push it to the front, it would somehow get caught on something and twist round, and we didn't have enough room in that hole. Obviously the hole's not big enough to get your hand in, and with every bit of jiggery pokery thing we could find in the workshop, we could not get it to spin round, so we just had to keep pulling the ram back out, turning it right, and then trying it again, and it took about 4 or 5 attempts before we got it. But God, what a job, what an absolute job. But I tell you what, it's just absolutely fixed all the creaking, because it was getting to the point where it would creak, and there was a lot of play in it when you were driving around, and you could feel the boom sliding from side to side. And obviously when you put your boom down, there was a lot of play up and down as well. So now Dan's packed all the shims out. It's rock solid, it's got rid of all the creaking, and it's just like driving a new one. So yeah, now that it's done, we're quite glad that it's done. We need to try and make an effort to spray a bit of oil in this end, because the skids that are like the shims that are here were absolutely bone dry, and they were probably a little bit more worn than the front ones, because there's no grease on any of them. So I'll have to make an effort to just try and spray a bit of oil in there every now and then. Slight problem from where I last picked up the camera. So we've done about 11 acres of the 20 acres we've got to bale, and then the first thing was one of the chains in here slipped off, and it's knackered a load of the teeth. It snapped one of the arms off that holds the idler in there somewhere. Anyway, we welded all that back up, put it all back together, put the chain back on, went back to the field, and then it started making a funny noise, and this bearing had gone in here, this roller bearing. This is the remains of it. It was completely destroyed, so I took it all apart. Luckily my friend down the road had one in stock, because he's got a similar baler to this. So we just put the new bearing in. I'm just going to put the chain back on, put the guard back on, and hopefully get back baling, because it's now, God, it must be about 8:30 at night, so we're not getting on very well. Dan's gone to start wrapping, but he's soon going to run out of bales. job this. This baler really just doesn't like baling hay, as I've probably said before. It takes ages for it to take it, start pulling it into the chamber. But yeah, there's actually not too bad a crop on here. This was this organic ground. It's very, very rough. We've just had to be really careful. Dan tedded it once. Yeah, it's only been tedded once. It's been down about 4 or 5 days, I think. And then he's just slowly rode it off with the rake. And I think he broke a bolt, one of the shaft bolts on the tedder last night. Well, it was actually a roll pin, but he's replaced it with a bolt. But yeah, we just had to go really slow on it because it's just very poached ground. But yeah, I reckon this is some of the driest hay I've ever baled in my life. It's like 30 degrees today, and it's like dust, turning to dust in the baler. So I'm having a job to fill the chamber without snapping the shear bolt, so I've had to slacken the pressure right off, and it's still making really, really tight, heavy bales. I had to put a bit more net on because the first ones I did around the field, I think the net was slipping because the bales were that spongy and dry. When I was letting them out, I think the net was slipping, and they don't all look completely round, some of them, so I put an extra round of net on and they seem loads better. They're holding their shape. So I'm thinking we might try and stack some of them up in the straw shed, save wrapping everything. Dan's just going to go through and wrap all of anything that looks scruffy, anything that doesn't look completely round, you know, that won't stack tidy in a neat stack, and all the headlands and everything. So yeah, it's just going to be a slow old job because we got this field's 20 odd acres, and then there's another 3 or 4 acres next door which is pretty rubbishy stuff, and then we've got an old meadow, like a 3 acre meadow, to bale, which is just like straw, so we'll probably just use that as bedding because there's a lot of stalky weed in it. So whether we'll get it all done tonight, I don't know. There's not a single cloud in the sky today. But yeah, it's just slow going with this baler. Well, it's Sunday, it's over 30 degrees today, it's seriously hot. I think it's the 13th of July. We got all our hay finished, not yesterday, the day before. I've been unloaded we got all of the wrapped ones in yesterday, and got them all unloaded and stacked up, so we've just got unwrapped bales left out. I wasn't going to, well, I wasn't sure where to stack them really. I did think we might end up wrapping more, but as it turns out, it looks as though we're going to sell quite a few cattle in the next 2 weeks, which means I might have some shed space free, so I should be able to stack it all in the shed. We're going to go and fetch a couple of loads in and see if start stacking a few of them in the pole barn. I'm a bit wary of handling them too much because we were baling them in this like 28, 30 degree heat, and if the hay was going, it was a bit overmade and it was very, very brittle. So over handling them is just going to make them very loose. I don't think I want to be spiking them if I can help it, because it's very short, smashed up material, and I just don't think they're going to stand to being spiked too many times. So we're going to try and just sort of stack them in the shed with the bale squeezes, and see how we get on doing that. Yeah, it's lovely stuff, but it's going to be very dusty, unfortunately. So the ones that are wrapped will be nice as long as they keep well, if there's enough plastic on them. This feels a bit awkward to get into with trailers because you have to back in off the road because the gateway is pointing in the wrong direction. The gateway points in the direction of the original farm rather than our farm, so. Well, it's just starting to rain. It's the middle of July now. The weather forecast seems really unsettled. There's a lot of rain in the forecast for the next 2 weeks, so I thought I'd take the risk and spread some muck. The camera doesn't pick it up, but it's spread it really nice. This is stuff that's straight out of the feed passageway of my cows, so it is about as good as you can get for spreading on grass because it's wet and it's all smashed up because they've treaded it. And I suppose there's quite a lot of it is basically slurry. You get the odd lump like that, which could probably do with being squashed in before we run over this with a mower again, but I would have said most of it would probably disappear if we have quite a bit of rain over the next 2 weeks. This field I mowed really short because it was a really short crop of grass, so I had to have the mower quite low just to be able to mow it because it kept stalling the mower. But yeah, this made a really nice job, and I've not put much on it as well. I know when you've got no grass it looks like you're putting a lot on, and I know I haven't put a lot on here, but I've spread this one spreader load over probably about 4 acres, so it's only like 2 or 3 tons to the acre, but it looks quite thick because of how little grass is on it. So I think I've got one more load to take out of my cattle passageways, and then I've got some tipped up over here, and that's been sat there for quite a while, so that won't spread anywhere near as nice because it's started having grasses and things growing on it, so we'll see what happens with that. But I'm thinking of bringing my digger and getting rid of the pile. If there wasn't a lot of rain forecast, I probably wouldn't bother, but seeing as it seems pretty wet in the forecast, I think I'm going to take my chance and get rid of it. I don't know how many loads are there. There's maybe 4 or 5 loads, so if I put it on light it's probably enough to cover this field. Just having a quick look around some of this ground that we cut hay on a couple of weeks ago. I've got a couple of mole traps up here because it made a hell of a mess up in this top corner. And I haven't checked them for about a week, so I thought I'd better come and have a look, but I haven't managed to catch any. But yeah, this is growing back. This will be second cut. Obviously it was a very late cut because we cut hay on it. But yeah, it's coming back. I don't think it'll be too long before we're back in here. This will be, well, second cut will be silage. So yeah, it'll be some of the earlier, the next stuff to cut probably, I would have thought, because we haven't got anything hurting for a while. You can sort of see where the fertilizer's worked and where it hasn't. Like, it looks as though I haven't spread any here, even though I have. I've spread the same amount everywhere, but like this part of the field is nowhere near as dark a green as over there, which is a bit strange. But yeah, I think we just need some rain really. It's forecast rain all day today, and we've barely had enough to wet the ground. It's not wet the ground under the trees. fertiliser spread off because I don't think we're going to be doing any more of that now. That's some of the hay we got stacked in the shed. We got stacked there and a stack there in the new shed. Just the right height. The bales fit underneath those crossbars, which I'm not sure whether is a good thing or not. It makes it easier to stack them, but they could, in theory, fall out the back of the shed because they don't catch on it. But then if they did catch on it, it would be a pain to stack them in the shed because you wouldn't be able to get them underneath the bars, and the bars would always end up in the wrong place. So that bale got caught by the grab, so that's probably going to end up being bedding, and that one got caught by the grab as well because it was hot when we were trying to unload them, so that probably needs re-wrapping. So yeah, Mark's had a look at this tractor because we couldn't get it started, and last week you think he took the lift pump apart and cleaned it all out. Said it was all a bit, well, it's probably never been taken apart for the last 50 years, to be honest. But he fiddled about with it and it got it going, and it starts blimmin' lovely now. Like it normally, for the last, as long as I can remember, 20 years, it's always, when you start it up from cold, it always puffs smoke for ages before it gets going. It normally fills the shed full of white grey smoke. And when I started, after Mark had been messing with it, it hadn't been started for 3 or 4 days after, and I started it up and it just started up instantly, and there was hardly any smoke at all, which I just couldn't believe it. I've never seen it start like that before ever. So whatever he's done to it, it certainly seems to run a lot healthier. So, we're having a bit of trouble with this topper. These bolts keep rattling loose, and the holes in this plate have elongated because there's a lot of vibration in the flail shaft. I think the flail's gone out of balance again, and it's vibrating and it's rattling all the bolts loose. And then Dan managed to even knock the roller off the back. But we've put that back, we've put it all back together now. We put some new bolts in, tightened it all up, so it's usable again, but it's pretty worn out. We're thinking that we need to change it really, because we've had the rotor balanced once, and I think it's just getting to the point where it's worn out, and there's cracks starting to show here, there, and everywhere. So yeah, it's probably on the cards. Just can't really afford it. That's the trouble. But it doesn't owe us anything, that topper. It's done so much work over the years, and really heavy work. It gets abused. It does. It's basically it's done a lot of hedge cutting, because there's loads of overgrown hedges I've had to hack back with a chainsaw, and then I use the flail to shred all the stuff. So yeah, it's done a lot of very heavy work. Hardly any grass cutting in recent years. So right, I'm going to drop the spread off this tractor and put the mower on, just to tidy a couple of little bits up that I've got missed. But yeah, I'm going to end this video here now because it'll be long enough, won't it? It's quite a lot gone on this in this video, but we finally finished all our hay. This is the regrowth from the field that we cut at the beginning of this video. God, we're absolutely plagued with wild birds, seagulls in particular. To see them circling around, you'd say that there was definitely someone ploughing the field, but there isn't. But yeah, it's just a hell of a lot of activity going on around here at the moment. But yeah, weather seems a bit unsettled now for the next couple of weeks, so hopefully we'll get caught up on some odds and ends. But yeah, thanks for watching this video anyway. We'll see you in the next one. Bye for now.